Can you guys hear me? Everyone good? Oh, yes. Can I put this on and walk out the crowd a little bit? Okay. Good evening, everyone. As some of you know, I'm Lolo. Ever since I was able to crawl, apparently I was drawn to the water. My mom had many opportunities to scoop me up out of the pool. As I would crawl to the edge of it and pop headfirst into the water, she dove in after me, with heart pounding, only to fish out a smiling, giggling little girl. Of course, this love I had for the water, and me being the little sister who did everything to be exactly like her older sister Shannon, I joined the team at age 6 when my sister tried out at age 9. Since that time, Stingrays has become more and more a part of my family. All of us Somalis have become involved and invested in this team over the years, whether it is as a competitor, volunteer, official, cheerleader, or parent. Through the first-hand experiences I've had and the second-hand ones I have encountered, I've developed a sort of unique perspective on what Stingrays is all about, and that is what I would like to share with all of you tonight. Before I really begin my speech, though, I would like to take a moment to thank you all, the Stingrays family, for teaching me and raising me, along with many other people whom have been through this program to get to this point in life today. There's been a lot of success associated with being a Stingray, and it's because of people like our coaches, parents, volunteers, and teammates who embrace and live out a lifestyle incorporating all what it means to be a Ray. So thanks to all. Okay, and now to actually begin my speech. And as you can tell, I'm not the best at public speaking, so work with me here, but I can assure you I'll try my best. I've noticed that as humans, we all naturally dream of lives that fulfill our fantasies of having a perfect future. When we are kids, we dream of being superstars, professional athletes, or even becoming president one day. And don't worry, everyone, Luke is working on his campaign right now for 2040, which is way down the line, but as you saw, he's mayor guy. We then become teens and young adults, keeping dreams like these still alive at heart, but also with some knowledge on our belts, we start to allow reality to creep into our thoughts and think about what careers we'd like to have, the types of families we could see ourselves being a part of, or even simply just what we'd like to do with our lives. Thinking about the future can be an intimidating thing to think about, and it doesn't go away with time. Even when we grow old, we think about our kids' futures, or generations to come's futures, day in and day out. Sorry, I messed that part up. The goal for us all is to get from point A, where we stand now, to point B, where we wish to be in the future. Unfortunately, there is no magic spell that we can use that takes us from one point to another, nor can we just snap our fingers to get there. I do have some great news to share with you all, though. Being a part of this team and investing in the effort to be a Stingray, you all become well-equipped to handle the future. Let me share with you some of my life skills that I put in my toolbox for life to help prepare me for what lies ahead. I've learned what it means to be dedicated, disciplined, loyal, respectful, and honest, which are our team values. I've learned what it means to together perpetuate excellence, which is our team philosophy. And I've learned how to train for life, which is our team motto. The main underlying point to all of these things together, though, is to focus on the process of what you do, rather than the outcome of it. Nowadays, it is so easy to become spoiled with instant gratification, where we begin to only focus on the results of everything we do now, rather than the effort and energy put into getting what we dream to have or be one day. Don't get me wrong here. Who wouldn't love to wake up being the next Missy Franklin or Michael Phelps? But knowing that can't just happen in the blink of an eye, I realize what is important is embracing the effort I make day in and day out to work towards my goals, and judging my success on daily efforts instead of one week's results or even one season's. For when we race in the pool, even if all we want to do is go best time, Ian has told me that it's not about just looking at the clock when we finish. But it's important for us to acknowledge what went on from the start of the race to the end of the race, to learn and move forward from. Where did we reach for our goals? Where did we let ourselves down? Where can we improve? Life is a journey, just like each race is. Aldous Huxley once said, "Experience is not what happens to you, it is what you do with what happens to you." Through the years of figuring this life epiphany out, I can now look back and realize how much more of a benefit I got, and will get in the future, from focusing on what I do daily to prepare for what is next. By focusing on the process of everything we do in life, we as people grow so much more than having just focused on our end results. We gain confidence, we learn to build routines in our daily lives. Patience becomes a virtue. Living in the present brings us happiness. We feel like we have control of our lives, and we can finally understand what it truly means when people say, practice makes perfect. If you think about it, the befores and afters of what we do in life are motionless in nature. They are simply a memory or a dream that enrich our life, but if we only focus on those, we too become motionless beings as well. To counter that, I realize the most important part in our lives is what we are doing in the right here and the right now. As someone once said, all that is important is the moment in movement. Make the moment important, vital, and worth living. Don't let it slip away unnoticed and unused. As a Stingray, and having been one since I was 6 years old, this whole idea of focusing on the process has been etched into my brain from the very beginning. One of the unique things about being a Stingray is that through every stage of development and growth that we go through, Stingrays emphasizes mastering a physical and mental process fundamental to that stage of development in order to help us prepare for the next stage. It is all about focusing on mastering the details that make up the process from stage to stage in order to produce the desired results rather than just hoping they will appear. Let me walk us all through a short version of what a child developing into a young adult would go through while being a Stingray. Okay, so first is the beginner and novice level. For a kid like me, who began swimming on this team at a very young age, I started out in the rookie program. While I was a little squirt, just enjoying splashing around and using the fins to pretend to be a mermaid, my coaches were focused on teaching me the skills I needed in order to progress to the next level. Lots of technical aspects like streamline, breathing every 3, or touching with 2 hands on breaststroke and butterfly were drilled into my head. Any swimmer knows that these are the most basic skills you need to master before you can even think about racing like a champ. Besides just learning the technicalities of the sport at this age though, I also learned some fundamentals to life. It was at this stage that the coaches taught us the 3 golden rules. Rule 1 was eyes and ears on the coach, aka focus on the task at hand, which as a little kid that's hard to do. Rule 2 was no talking when the coaches are talking, aka have respect, which is again one of our team values. And finally, Rule 3 was don't leave the pool deck without asking or telling your coach, which is your basic safety protocol for any situation. By being a part of this team and this group at the very young age of 6 or 7 years old, I'd already put into my toolbox for life tools and skills that would continue to be used and applied to various situations and circumstances I would later face. When the coaches finally believed I had mastered these basic skills and I was ready to take on the next challenges, they moved me up to the age group level. Looking back on this time in my life is really sort of interesting for me, because I'm sort of getting the chance to relive it right now, watching my brother Luke go through it. It is at this age where the kids' competitive natures come out, and they all start to enjoy racing and becoming contenders in the sport. When I occasionally pick Luke up from his practice, especially on relay practice Thursdays, which Kim, by the way, he loves, he always comes into the car with a big smile on his face, ready to tell me just how hard and how awesome he did in his practice. I think during these stages of development, Stingrays as a whole does a great job at keeping the sport fun and entertaining. Unlike other teams, we don't emphasize necessarily being a big superstar at the state meets or county championship meets. But instead, we have meets like the pentathlon or the spectacular, where the kids still get to race, but have fun while doing it. Me, being a kid who was, and still is super competitive, as Tyler Herbert likes to point out quite often, I think that how Stingrays focuses on the process at this stage of development is crucial. By incorporating some lightheartedness or an enjoyment with it, we set kids up to be successful in their future with the sport, rather than burn out like many do on other teams. Continuing through the stages of how kids develop on Stingrays brings me next to talking about the youth stages. At this time in my life, I was a little confused on what exactly I wanted to do and where I wanted to be. I had quit swimming around the time that I probably would have first joined the youth group. Yes, like I said a second ago, I was a little lost as I went out and tried some other sports, like soccer, tennis, volleyball, and Pike's favorite, cheerleading. Can I get a goatee? But after realizing that none of these were the best fit for me, nor did they bring me the same joy I had had while swimming before, I decided to come back to the team. When I came back to swimming, I was placed right into the chaos and insanity of the youth group. I guess calling it chaotic and insane may be a bit of a stretch, but when I came back as my awkward middle school self, the only thing I could think about day in and day out was finding my place in the group and sort of my niche in the sport. Which to a pre-teener is a scary thing. Pike was my coach at this time, and boy am I lucky he was. With all the changes going on at this stage in life, both physically and mentally, I saw Stingrays as masters on how to deal with all these changes. Stingrays gave me the sense of calm and discipline that helped me from feeling adrift at this changing time in life. I could turn to Pike and my teammates for any struggle I faced. And with that, I think it helped build group and team identity. This foundation of a team is essential to understand as one moves from the youth to the senior level. The reason being is because by the time you get to the senior level, you are held to the expectation of being a leader. One of the first lessons I remember being taught in me and Ian's group was that you're in charge of your own. He and Michael expect us all in the senior group to be responsible for ourselves, which yes includes being at practice, having all your equipment, and taking responsibility if you do not, instead of, blaming mom and dad like we all tend to do. They also expect us to be leaders of the team. When we head off to meets or head out to team functions, Ian and Michael remind us that there are people looking up to us, and it is important to represent what we stand for by being a part of this team. To me personally, the lessons I have learned in this group are some of the best lessons and life skills that anyone has taught me before I moved on to the real world. Right now, as some of you may know, I'm getting ready to sing lead. Sorry, I'm in tear a little bit. Mary, I can't look at Mary. Stop it! Okay, I'm getting ready to sing lead and begin my journey. Sorry. I'm getting ready to soon leave and begin my journey at the United States Naval Academy. To the average Joe, this may seem like the craziest, most intimidating commitment to undertake, especially as a senior in high school. As a Stingray, though, I don't feel too intimidated or frightened because for my life, as I see it, it's just another step in the process, and I know I'm well equipped for it. Much of this working through the process mentality that I have established for myself can be attributed to Stingrays. The goal, like all of our Stingrays t-shirts say, is to train for life. This didn't really sink in for me until just recently, as I'm getting ready to leave and looking back on my time here. Sorry. Okay, sorry. I'm sure, just like me, there are many others of you out there right now, especially my fellow seniors, who are a little intimidated about closing the door to what is familiar and opening a new one to something unexpected. Like I've just discussed though, I want to tell all of you not to worry for the road ahead, but to enjoy it as you continue on down it daily. I realize that this team, and the things that I've learned from being a part of it, have provided me so much more than just swimming skills. Through those rough early morning dry-ins and crazy Saturday morning practices, okay, I'm just going to restart the sentence, catch my breath a little bit. Okay, through those rough early morning dry-ins and crazy Saturday morning practices, or the meets where I've been smiling year to year, or even the ones that I'd rather not revisit. Oh my gosh, I can't stop crying. I've learned that I can better accomplish what I want both in and out of the pool by focusing on the process, not the outcome. I'm almost done, but okay. As I close, I want you all to imagine a little toolbox. As you know, I've been referencing my little toolbox for life kind of throughout this speech. Sorry for the interruptions with the cries and yeah, everything else. Okay, so back to the toolbox. Imagine your little toolbox. Think of the moments in life that you learned something from, good or bad, and place those in your toolbox. When I think about this, I realize that Stingrays has helped me to fill my little toolbox with lots of good tools and skills for life. Confidently, I can say that I'm ready to go out and build whatever kind of future I dream of, as I'm sure many of you can do too. Thank you again to all of you for helping me, along with the rest of my teammates, to get to where we are today. Once a Stingray, always a Stingray, which my dad stole from me earlier in his speech. Just want to put that out. Go Rays go, which is my little motto that I like to say to everything. And I want to say, enjoy the rest of your evening.
Congratulations, Lauren. I would like my two seniors, front and